to reports, the NFL will not make a decision about the potential reinstatement of D lineman Aldon Smith and Gregory before the draft, which makes things interesting for the Cowboys. So, Shannon, with that in mind, should the Cowboys take the best edge rusher at number 17 just in case?
No. I would take the best cornerback available at 17. Skip, they lost Byron Jones. They only had 7 interceptions last year as a team, and tied for fewest, and you bring back Anthony Brown and Awuzie at the 2 starting cornerback spots. Nah, Skip. You need a corner. And hell, you're paying DeMarcus Lawrence $20 million. What the hell you paying him for? Come on, Skip. You just signed Gerald McCoy. And if the corner's gone, because we believe Okudah will be gone a lot earlier than that, but I hear they like this kid, C.J. Henderson, out of Florida, and I think there's another guy, I can't recall his name off the top of my head, Skip. You take that corner. You need someone on the back end. That was been the weak link for the Cowboy for the longest period of time. And if all those guys are gone, if there's a receiver there, C.D. Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, you take him. Skip, you don't reach for a rusher if you need a corner. Take the corner and live this, and then worry about an edge rusher in round 2.
I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to wish the worst on my Cowboys. You want them to pick a bust at number 17 so that you can gloat next year, right? Just for the record, just to disqualify your opinion.
No. Do you not need a cornerback? Yes or no? Do you not need a corner? Yes or no?
Even worse, we need an edge rusher, because to me, I value the edge rusher above the cornerback, because obviously they work hand in hand. But if you can't get to the quarterback, the cornerback often doesn't matter, because obviously if you have too much time to throw, the best cornerback in the draft, C.J. Henderson, or as you said, Jeff Okudah, that they're going to have no chance covering a receiver for 7 seconds. So to me, Robert Quinn predictably took the money and ran to Chicago. I don't blame him a bit for that, but he was my best edge rusher, my best defensive end last year. DeMarcus Lawrence didn't remotely, as we know, live up to a $100 million contract last year. Did he have a shoulder issue that troubled him and slowed him down? Yes, he did. Can he be way better than he was? Yes, he has to be. So it's also troubling to me, Shannon, that they couldn't get a ruling quick enough on Aldon Smith and or Gregory to know if they're vulnerable at the other edge rusher. It's critical to this defense to have somebody else who can get to the passer. And again, maybe Commissioner Goodell would give Jerry Jones kind of a little wink, heads up. Yeah, I'm going to reinstate him. I just don't have time to do the paperwork right now, because obviously Commissioner Goodell has way more serious issues than reinstating Aldon Smith or Gregory on his plate right now. We know that. But do you really think he'd give Jerry Jones a heads up before the draft that they will get reinstated? Jerry has been an adversary of Commissioner Goodell, so I don't know that Roger's going to do Jerry any pre-draft favor here. So I'm saying you're hanging out to dry here, that you're highly vulnerable. If, in fact, one player, I'm going to hit you with one huge name here. If one player falls to 17, which is highly possible, you have to take this edge rusher. He just might be the best edge rusher in the draft. To my eye, just watching television, I thought that K'Lavon Chaisson at LSU leaped off my screen even more than I saw Chase Young leaping off my screen for The Ohio State. And obviously, Chase Young is just the runaway second pick in the draft, and we get that. And yet, I think we both have said, gee, there in some of the big games, it looked like he just got engulfed, that his quickness just got overtaken by massive left tackles. So what I saw from Chaisson when I watched LSU in big games, he was unblockable. And so then I read that earlier this week, the Cowboys did interview Chason. So that's number one. And then number two, last night, I always like to read the capsules on NFL.com post-combine from Lance Zierlein, who does an excellent job of breaking down the combine prospects. And when he wrote about Chason, guess who he compared him to? And this is before we knew anything. He compared him to Aldon Smith. He said he's the next possible Aldon Smith, that he can be a game-changing pass rusher. He's 6'3", 254, so he's in that mid-range of where he's more athlete than physicality. But every time I watched number 18 for LSU, he leaped off my screen. And by the way, they gave him number 18 because they consider that the leadership number on the LSU defense. And he was that. He led them in rushing the passer and as the leader on the field. So I love the intangibles. I love the tangibles. And again, Mel Kiper's got him going one pick earlier to Atlanta at 16. But if he falls to 17, Mel Kiper's got him falling well past that to Seattle at 28. And yet both acknowledge that he's the second best pass rusher in the draft, edge rusher. Man, I'm taking Chason right there. Bingo. Thank you very much. I don't care what your needs are at cornerback. You can figure that out. That TCU kid, Gladney, might be there in the second round. That's who Mel has them taken in the second round. So, Shannon, if he's there, I'll take Chason over Chase, I think, in the long term. He just looks, to my eye, like he might be the better long-term game changer.
Skip, I'm looking at it, and Mel Kiper has them taking the safety out of Alabama, Xavier McKinney. Skip, I think they need secondary help more than they need an edge rusher. You know, DeMarcus Lawrence, and you believe that he had a shoulder injury, he was nicked. Okay, so he should be 100%. Now, you signed Gerald McCoy. Now, it looks like to me that Mike Nolan I know he likes to base out of a 3-4. And it seems to be that's the direction that they're heading, is in a 3-4. So with that, Skip, I still believe, I mean, C.J. Henderson is the second best rated corner. They got Terrell out of Clemson. They got Tavon Diggs out of Alabama. Skip, and now I'm not saying it seems to be Okudah is the runaway #1 corner. I think on everybody's draft board, he's the best corner out there. And clearly, he's going to be gone when the Cowboys pick at 17. But, Skip, you need secondary help. That was pathetic last year. In 16 games, you only had 7 picks. Really? So, for me, you need corner.
Okay,
if Xavier McKinney is there, you got to take a secondary guy, Skip. A safety or a corner, you need that.
Okay, so the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe is telling me he values corners above edge rushers.
No, Skip. But here's the thing. The question is, do you have the corner rated higher than the edge rusher? Because, okay, you need both. Okay, let's just say for the sake of argument, Skip, we need both. But the corner is rated higher on our draft board than the edge rusher. Then what do? You need both. But one is rated higher than the other.
All right. I watched C.J. Henderson a lot play for the University of Florida last year, and he's really good. He is clearly the second best corner in this draft. In my eye test off television, I would say Chason would be higher on my draft board than even C.J. Henderson would be, and I'm pretty sure C.J. will be gone by the time the Cowboys pick at 17. There's some reason that teams aren't as sold on Chason, and I don't know why. He did not run at the combine. I think he had a hamstring or there was something going on with it. There's some reason that there's some skepticism that I don't get. I think he's going to be the steal of the draft. So on my draft board at 17, he would be higher than C.J. Henderson. But I get what I mean, obviously you need a corner, but what did I keep telling you about Byron Jones? He would make a Pro Bowl and not intercept a pass. I can count on one hand the times he even got his hands on balls. He intercepted 2 passes in 5 years. He just has no ball instincts. So I think he was very overrated, and I think the Dolphins dramatically overpaid to get him. He can definitely cover. He's freakishly athletic. I give you that. And he's a big, strong corner. But he has no ball hawk skills. And so, to me, Anthony Brown's pretty good. Jordan Lewis is pretty good. You might be able to get away with him. And I told you, if you get the Gladney kid in the second round, he probably would start for you. So, again, Chason is my pick at 17 if he's there. And I think people are laying in the weeds to take him earlier, but we'll see about that.
Skip, let me tell you why people are not so sure on Clavon Chason. Is Bartavius Mingo. You remember that linebacker that came out of LSU and everybody thought, oh my God, they was ranting and raving. I think he went 6th overall to Cleveland. And then he went to New England. And then he went to Seattle. And so I don't know where he is now. Yep. And I think that kind of scared because they have kind of like the same body type as this kid here. And it is kind of scaring people off. They're like, well, we thought we had a can't miss in Bartavius Mingo. And lo and behold, we missed bad. The question is, Skip, if 17, if C.J. Henderson and the Chason kid is there, you would rather them take the edge rusher as opposed to the corner. Because you do know, Skip, let's just say for the sake of argument, they'll hold up for just that bead longer. You're in trouble. You're in trouble.
Okay, it's a good point you make about Mingo. That was a long time ago, and obviously that doesn't mean that Chason is going to be a bust. And Mingo wasn't a bust. He just couldn't live up to the 6th overall pick. But I felt like he was more of a pure linebacker, while Chason is a pass rusher who can also drop and cover. I saw him drop and cover 2 or 3 times where I was like, wow, he can move, he can run. So, again, I think he's going to be way better than Mingo was.